I'm going to be talking about music production and how you can convert the music in your head into a career. So, first of all, I'm very nervous to do this session after two amazing sessions by Manu and Ajwa. They have done their sessions with aplomb, to use one of Ajwa's words. Uh, let me talk about why this session came into being. So Bashisa had approached me stating that music production is a topic that a lot of people are not very familiar with, and a lot of people know about sound engineering because our country is obsessed with engineering in general. So sound engineering is something that a lot of people have heard, but music production is something that was very unique and very alien to a lot of people. So his idea was to make it more accessible to especially the students out there, because I remember when I was back in school, my only options, not because of my parents or anything, my parents were very supportive. And I'm not just saying that because they are attending this presentation, but they were very supportive. But back then, me and my friends, all the only options that we had were engineering or medicine. Commerce was a third option, which most people would ask you not to do because it was seen as a smaller thing, which is again which is dumb. But engineering or medicine, those were the two options that we had. So back then, if I had known about music production and if I knew how to convert, because I used to sing, I still sing, I always used to sing, but I didn't know how to make it a career. I didn't know how to go ahead with it. I thought I could do it, by in the side as a hobby, but then something inside me always wanted me to, make it a profession. Like ever since I was a kid. So if I had known back then that there was something called music production and that I can make my own music and I can put it out there, I would have done it back then. So the point of this session is to give information to a whole lot of people who are still confused about what to do with their music. There are so many artists, there are so many writers who write amazing lyrics, who compose beautiful music, but it's all in their head or on their phone, like in a recording. So most people don't know what to do with it. So that is where music production comes in, and I hope this session is helpful to at least one person. Convert their dreams and hopes into an actual career, like I got the opportunity to. So moving on, uh, just a minute. What is music production, and how is it different from sound engineering? So this is a question that a lot of people ask. Like I said. So this is the definition of music production. Music production is the process of creating a recorded music project. So if a song is out there, like let's say any particular song that is coming out these days, every song is called a project, and that project from the beginning, like the composition, the tune, the melody, till the end, till the final product that comes onto in YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music or wherever it is, that process is called music production. So on a very high level, you can categorize music production as the creative side of the song and sound engineering as the technical side of the song. So the music producer will work on the melody and the how what all instruments should come in the song, what all sound should be there in each portion of the song, and the sound engineer will work on the technical side of things like recording, mixing, mastering, things like that. But this again is a very high level classification, if you may. But this is not exactly how you can define a music producer or a sound engineer. There is a little bit of overlap, as you can see here. So there are two kind of skills that you can have. There is knowledge of music, ideas, and creativity. Of course, you have a lot of musical ideas, and you're obviously very creative. And then the second kind of skills that you can have is the technical knowledge. So by technical knowledge, I mean the knowledge to use softwares and hardwares properly, because in this day and age, in this the current scenario of the music industry, you are nothing if you don't know technical knowledge. So at least a little bit of technical knowledge, because technology has taken over the music industry so widely that without technology there is no music these days. Because the traditional way of making music using the tapes and magnetic discs and all that is gone, almost over. It's like a collectible item now. Everything is done using the computer. Every sound, even amazing instruments, are the sounds are generated from the computer. So technical knowledge is a must, and the amount of skill you have in that technical aspect, and of course the creativity that comes along with it. So music production is like the perfect marriage between these two skills. So you need it's an overlap, like you can see in the it's a Venn diagram, as you can see here. It perfectly combines the knowledge of music. It need not be like music theory or anything. It need not be like very hardcore music. It can just be your ideas, your the song in your head, and your melody, and the knowledge of instruments in your head. It'll be the marriage of this with the necessary amount of technical knowledge for you to make the song into an actual thing that people can listen to. So that is like the proper definition of music production, I feel. And so if you look at sound engineering, it mostly just, even there, even with sound engineering, you need some level of music knowledge, because when you're mixing and mastering and all, you have to know how this particular instrument sounds, or which instrument should sound higher or lower in level, and all that you will know if you know a little bit of music. So sound engineering also involves knowledge of music, but it's more on the technical side. You'll need more of technical knowledge for mixing and mastering and all that. I'll come to detail on all that later. I'm just giving an overview of what music production actually is. So let's move on to the process. What all can a music producer do, and what all will they do? There is songwriting. So this applies only if you are an independent artist, or if you are planning on becoming an independent artist. Like there are so many bands these days, like Taikudam Bridge and Masala Coffee, and all those people. They are all bands, but they can also do things individually, because they chose to be a band, but there are other people who do it individually as well. So all these people, they write their own songs. So songwriting is the first step in their thing. But if you look at the film industry, you have dedicated lyricists who write lyrics for you. So the music producer's job in the film industry will be just to compose the song, and compose the melody, and then arrange the song, and then make the final output. Sound design is what is when the music producer comes up with a list of things, or list of instruments and sounds that he wants, or he or she wants, in the particular song. It should so choosing a particular sound for a song is very, very important, because it defines the mood of the song. It defines the situation, whether it fits the situation or not. All that is decided by the music producer. um, Arrangement is the most important thing in a song, because the music producer arranges in which portion what all should be coming. So if suppose, let's take the famous song Chaya Chaya. It starts with a female lead. जिनके सनहा इश्क की छान. So the music producer, sorry if I startled you with my singing, but yeah, I'm just giving an example. The music producer decides that the female vocal should come at the beginning. But the most interesting part of Chaya Chaya song is the beat, because it mimics the sound of a moving train, right? But it doesn't start from the beginning. So all that is decided by the music producer, and all that is part of the arrangement. So arrangement is very important in the song, because it has to fit the mood. It has to fit the setting in the movie, or whatever you're doing the song for. or whatever the lyrics, the arrangement has to complement the lyrics. That is a very important thing, and that is something that a lot of people neglect. um, Maybe the lyrics are very sad, but the arrangement is very peppy and very full of josh, so it won't match the lyrics, right? So that is something a lot of people neglect when they are composing, but that is something that is very important, and that is again the job of a music producer. And then comes mixing and mastering. So technically, in the industry, in the film industry, the mixing and mastering is not necessarily done by the music producer himself. The music producer composes and arranges, and then finally the sound engineer does the mixing and mastering. But when you're an independent artist, if you are a good music producer, and if you know your basics properly, you are capable enough to do the mixing and mastering yourself. There is no right or wrong, right? Because whatever you're doing, whatever sound you're making, whatever output you're giving, it is yours, and it should be completely yours. There are some standards that YouTube and Spotify and all set when mastering the track, like when the final output of the track is there. There are some standards that they set, but besides that, the rest of it is completely your creativity. So the mixing and mastering can be done by the music producer himself or herself, and yeah, so that is something that a music producer does. And so the question comes up: how can I become a music producer? And can I just do it from my bedroom? Yes, you definitely can. So this is one of those This is not my setup, mind you, because this looks like a very expensive setup, but it's not very expensive, but it looks very nice, right? So this is again a bedroom producer's setup only. You can definitely do it from your bedroom, and there are certain ingredients that you need to get started with becoming a music producer. So the first one is obviously creative drive. I'm stepping on Manu's presentations here a little bit. I mean, obviously, all these creative um jobs pretty much have the same kind of workflow to it, if you may. You need the creativity, then you have to keep persisting. You have to keep doing things that you're doing, and then finally you'll reap the benefits at the end of the day, or the end of the year, or whenever the time comes for you. So creative drive is very, very, very important when becoming a music director. So suppose you have a lot of ideas. Suppose you have the music inside you. So what you should do? I mean, suppose you don't have all the gear to, you don't have the keyboard or the computer or whatever. See, it shouldn't stop you from making music. So everybody these days has a smartphone with them or something. If you're a student, your parents probably have a smartphone. So what you can do is think of different music, and think of different melodies, and then come up with the different melodies. And if you're good at lyrics, then come up with different good lyrics as well, and then write it down and record it on your phone. Always keep thinking about music, always have that creative drive inside you. So so what I do, my process, if you may, is that I listen to a lot of music, and I listen to them very critically. So whenever I listen to a song, I tend to notice what all different instruments are used, and what all instruments are coming where. The arrangement, I look at all the arrangements. I note where the bass is coming in, and this is something that I also do. Like when I'm listening to the song, I additionally make other arrangements inside my head, or I sing it out loud, or I do it out loud. Like if there is a portion where there is no bass, I'll put the bass myself using my mouth or something, and that gives me this kind of a creative boost whenever I need it. And these ideas help me when I'm actually making music, making my own music. These ideas actually help me. So creative drive is very, very important. I'll say it's the most important among all these different ingredients. Then comes music education. So I'm not musically like trained. I don't have a grade exam, a degree or anything. I'm not musically trained in any way. I know Carnatic music, which I had learned for around 10 years. But like if you look at music theory or anything, I'm not trained at all. I learned most of the keyboard stuff and all on my own. So music education, if you look at music theory, it's not that important, but it's always good to have. If you have a music theory knowledge, it's always, if you can read notations and things like that, it's always very good, because it'll give you that edge. You'll stand out of the crowd, and that is very important as well, because there are like to be very frank, every single day there are like 5 or 10 music producers coming out in our world right now, because it's that easy to start, but it's not easy to sustain. So if you want to sustain, you have to stand out of the crowd, you have to give them something special. So having music knowledge, music theory knowledge is very, very good in that aspect. But to start off as a music producer, it's not necessary. Keyboard knowledge, yes, you do need keyboard knowledge, because in this day and age where everything is digital, everything you're doing your entire song composition and mixing and mastering everything in your computer. uh, the instrument that we use, the external hardware that we use to communicate with the computer is the keyboard. And I'm not talking about the computer keyboard, I'm talking about the musical keyboard. It's called a MIDI keyboard. And if you want more clarification on that, I can give it to you later. So keyboard knowledge, like basic keyboard knowledge, is very necessary, because you play all your instruments using your keyboard, and it's nice to know which notes go where and how to go from this note to that, and basic like finger exercises and all that. They are very necessary, and that is something you can practice in your free time as well. That is something you can gradually develop. I mean, I'm not very proficient with the keyboard yet, because I learned it on my own from the beginning, but I over the years I have grown a little bit. So no, I can move from one chord to the other very easily, from notes to notes, and not very easily, but pretty easily. So I have grown over the years, and that is something you need to improve. Technical education, again, like I said, in this day and age, since we rely on technology so much, it is very important to have a little bit of technical knowledge at least. You don't need to like work with extensive like big hardware and like big mixer consoles and like different other modules and all. You don't have to work on all that to be able to start producing music. You just have to be good with your computer. You just have to, I'm going to use a little bit of technical jargon here. Like if you want to, suppose you want to use a compressor in your system, or an equalizer, you should know how the different buttons and knobs and all work. And so it's very like this basic technical education is very necessary if you want to start off. But that is again something you can learn. That is something, I mean, you don't need all of that information when you start off. You can learn it gradually, and you can with experiments and experience, you learn a lot more. Good thing is that there are so many online tutorials and so many resources out there in this current present day. And so it's not very difficult, it's not very you don't really have to go to like a particular institute and learn and all that. You can always just learn it on. Then comes gear. So gear meaning the hardware that you buy, a keyboard or an interface, and sorry, an audio interface where you can a mic, like different things. So a lot of people, I've come across a lot of people who talk about how having a lot of expensive gear, like I should have the latest Apple MacBook, or I should have the latest that keyboard, I should have the latest mic. But let me tell you, without the first thing, even if you have the most expensive gear, you're not going to make any good music. Without your creative drive, you're not going to make any good music. So when I started, I was very driven, that I had my very old Sony laptop, and I installed you know how it's very difficult to install software on a Windows laptop, especially because it's very customizable. It's pretty difficult to do all that. So I got it to work. I was at it all the time, and I used to do bedroom productions back then. So I was very driven back then, and that is what led me to learn music production professionally. So how much ever gear you have, it's not going to make you a good music producer. Only your creativity and your drive and your passion for music is going to make you a good music producer. But that being said, you do need a little bit of gear. You need a basic laptop, and you need a small, even if it's a small keyboard, you do need that, because you'll be using that to control all your instruments. So that's it. That's the very basic. And if you're a singer, you can get a small mic as well. I mean, there are so many different options out there. Like there are USB mics now, which were not a thing like 3 or 4 years back. So you have so many different options now, and very cheap options as well, which will deliver like really good music at the end of the output will be really good. So you don't really have to spend a lot of money on gear. That's what I'm saying. So places to learn, like I said, there are so many resources out there, online tutorials and YouTube videos, which you can very easily learn on your own. But there are some structured courses as well. If you look at Coursera, Berkeley offers a lot of production courses and sound engineering courses and music courses and all that. You can look into those, but I mean, it's free most of the time. You don't have to pay for if you want to get the certificate, you'll have to pay, but otherwise it's completely free. Udemy also offers a lot of courses like this, and some of them are paid. Berkeley, the institute itself, offers online courses like a distance education course. So that is a little expensive. Not it's very expensive, but it'll be totally worth every penny you pay, because you're getting education from Berkeley, and that is, if you are thinking like very seriously about music production, that is a very good option as well. Then there are our Indian institutes that which most of us would prefer, which I have been looking at since when I've been working, because I came to Chennai with the thought that I could continue my music along with my job. But my job got very intensive, and so I was not able to, balance both of them, which is when I decided to quit my job and get into music production fully. So at that time, I had done a lot of research into where to go and what to find. So the first thing, obviously, that comes to our mind is KMMC, which is KM Music Conservatory in Chennai, which is run by A.R. Rahman sir. It is a very good institute because of all the infrastructure and all the faculty and Rahman sir himself. And but it is a little on the expensive side. It's not as expensive as Berkeley online, but it's still a little on the expensive side. But you get quality education there. There are courses on electronic music production. Electronic music production is when no actual instruments come into play. It's all electronic music. Like everything is synthesized using the computer. There are no actual instruments in play. So you would have heard of a lot of these electronic artists like David Guetta. Um, there are so many others. I'm not very fond of electronic music, EDM, or they call it electronic dance music. Um, they have a course on that. They have other like interesting music courses as well, which you can always check out. So if you send them an inquiry, they'll respond within a few days, and or you can just approach them. And the most people who have come out of KMMC are very happy. And yeah, that is one of the first options that you should check. Then comes Music Port, which is my personal alma mater and my institute. So this is run by Henry Kurvilla sir. He's working as a music programmer in the industry. He works primarily for A.R. Rahman sir. And so this is like an 8 to 10 month, a very intensive music production course. And this is exactly what I was looking for at that point, and which helped me grow as a musician, as well as grow sound technical knowledge as well. So like in most of these institutes, if you go, and they'll have a music production course, but they'll either focus more on the music or on the technical side. So it's finding the perfect balance is what makes you a good music producer, and that is exactly what I was looking for, and that I was given because of Henry sir. I'm ever thankful to him through Music Port. And so that is definitely an option to look into. And if you're interested, I can give you the contact of his manager, and you can always go ahead with it. I have you have my 100% guarantee that you will become a much better musician and a much better human being after you come out of music. Then there are institutes like NHQ, which operates out of Kochi. And I know many people who have come out of NHQ who are very happily working in the industry right now. I have a friend called, sorry, I forgot his name, but he's in K7 Studios in Kochi. He's one of the chief sound engineers there. So they focus more on the sound engineering side more than the music. So if that is what you are interested in, you can definitely go for that. The thing with all these courses is that you have to look before you join any of these courses. You have to look at their syllabus and you have to see what all they're teaching. So you have to see whether they are offering more of music or more of sound engineering, more of the technical side of things. Like if you're very interested in acoustics, like how a room treatment and all that, then definitely go for a sound engineering course, like which is leaning towards more towards the sound engineering side. So there are many different options out there, and it's all about what you want. It's all about what your creative drive wants you to do. Then there is Gopi Sundar sir, who's doing a music production course. I think it's like a 14 or 18-day course. And there are like multiple batches going on right now. And a lot of people have recommended that course as well. It's a very highly intensive music production course for people who don't have a lot of time to spend, who cannot step out of their regular day-to-day life to get into music production, and who just want to start off music production somehow. This is a very good option. This is being run out of Kochi, I believe. Then there's Music Lounge in Chennai. This was started off by Stephen Devsey and Shivamani sir and all. There were a lot of big names involved in this particular institute. They also offer a music production as well as a sound engineering course. But the music production course I've heard is more of electronic music production, like I said. Um, so if that is what you're after, then you can definitely check it out. Even they have their syllabus on their website, so please do check out the syllabus before you get into it. That's the first thing that you have to do. And besides this, I would always recommend just learning it on your own. For me, it did not work out because I was working, and I was, by the end of the day, I would get very tired that I wouldn't have time to do anything, let alone sit and study or research on how to make my music better. So for me, I wanted to change my career altogether, and I wanted a structured course, and which is why I joined Music Board. But if you are someone who wants to just take it as a hobby, or I mean, I know that this presentation is how to make it into a career, but obviously you can always start off as a hobby, and then when you're confident enough, take the plunge and start doing it as a career. So that is just one of my suggestions, if you may. Looking at career opportunities, and how difficult is it to get jobs? Yes, it is not very difficult to get jobs, especially since you're a musician, you're a music producer. Like I said earlier, there are so many different artists and songwriters and independent people who compose, who want to put their music out there, but they don't know how to. They have these karaoke tracks and all that, and they put like very small YouTube videos and all that, but there is nothing unique in that, right? They want their name to stand out. They want their music to be out there, and so they come in search of music producers. And if you're there at the right time, you can help them make their dream come true, and obviously you can promote your own work as well. So there are so many people like that, and they need your help. And that is like a huge untapped market, actually. If you actually go behind people and tell them that, if suppose this is like a really good singer, and suppose you can tell them that you sing really well, why don't I produce this song for you? They'll be really happy, and obviously your work will also get done. So yeah, there are so many opportunities out there. I've just listed a few here. So let's go through that. You can be an independent artist, meaning you can, if you are a songwriter, if you compose your own music, You can compose your own songs, you can arrange it, you can mix and master and everything. You can just do it yourself. You can put it out on YouTube. You can put it on YouTube and monetize it. You can put it out on Spotify. You can put it out using. There are many other like websites like CD Baby and I'm not. I forget the names, but CD Baby is a very common website where you can publish your albums and things like that. And obviously, you'll get paid for it later on. It'll be like a passive income in the future. But yeah, if you are an independent, you can become an independent artist if that is what you're after. I plan to become an independent artist in the future. Right now, I am working with a music director in the Tamil industry called Sam CS, sir. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of him. And I'm working under him right now as a music producer. And I eventually want to become an independent artist. So I figured the industry experience would actually help me. And I know I'm very late to the game because all the people who are with me are younger than me. There is a kid who learned with me, who just finished his 10th standard and he came to do music production. He's a drummer. He's a really good drummer, and then he started learning music production from the place I learned. I am around 10 years older to him, and I felt so jealous of him because he's starting so young and he has so much time ahead of him. I kept thinking about how I wasted my time working in a firm and doing engineering. Why do all that when you can very easily just go into music production and make yourself feel proud of what you're doing. So yeah, I think I went off topic, but okay. Then you can produce album for other artists. Yes, you can do that as well. Like I said earlier, you can be an audio or a sound engineer, like I mentioned earlier. Since it combines, since there is a musical side and there's a technical side, a music producer, like if suppose you're done with the course, or suppose you're done with learning music production on your own, you are capable enough of producing a soundtrack, of becoming a sound engineer. And like I said, if you want to work in a studio as a sound engineer, 70% of the job is, 70% of your learning is from the job. Most of the things you wouldn't know before you come to the studio. That's true of any job for that matter. When I joined my firm, I didn't know almost 90% of the things I didn't know. I learned it on the job. I learned it day by day, and I kept learning. So it's very easy for a music producer to become a sound engineer. You just have to start off slow, and then you can learn on the job. Then comes the most sought after, if you may, and most famous of the options in the and which will give you fame as well, as a career opportunity in music production, is commercial productions like films, advertisements, advertisement jingles, game music, etc. So there are tons of films and short films in the like, especially with COVID and everything. There were so many different short films coming out, and a lot of these live artists took a hit because all these different venues were closed down. They were not able to perform and all that, so they turned to music production. They started putting out their song. They started producing their songs, and they started putting out their songs on their own. Then they started doing music for short films and other small budget films and all that. So films are obviously, everyone is looking to go get into films because it is very lucrative. You'll get a lot of money. Firstly, secondly, fame, because you will obviously get famous because there's some craze about the music industry. Sorry, the film industry in India that I would not understand. Everybody's crazy about films, and so everybody is looking to get into it, and it's not that difficult. It is not difficult at all. So that is definitely another option. Teaching is definitely an option. Once you get pretty good at it, you can give out teaching material and things like that. You can always do presentations like I am doing. I still don't feel I'm qualified to be doing this session, but here I am. So Sound design, yes, that's the last thing. Sound design is like sound effects and different textures and different sounds for ads, advertisements, and even films and games as well. You can see that a lot of these games have different sound effects and things like that. So if that is what you're interested in, you can definitely go for that as well. That is just another career opportunity. So yeah, I think we've come to the end of the presentation. You can contact me on these number, the email and my phone number. If you do have anything, any query, you can just contact me, because I know how frustrating it is to start off as unbeknownst to you, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to start off with your music. And so I hope I can help you with that. I can start you off with my recommendations with software and hardware and all that. So please do contact me if you do need any help. I'll be of help 24/7. Not 24/7. I'll need to sleep, so I will be available whenever I am. So please do contact me, and yeah, I hope I can be of help to you.